Circle of fifths, what it is, and how to use it easily. Many of you will know or have heard of the circle of fifths, although there may be a large number of people who do not understand how it works. In this video, I will explain in simple terms all the information provided by the circle of fifths so that you can use it without any problems. For those who are unfamiliar with the circle of fifths, it is a tool widely used by musicians to identify the notes and chords that correspond to a specific key. Something vital to compose our own accompaniments, transpose the chords of a song to a different key, or extract the chords of a song once its key is known. Since each musical theme is associated with or has its own key, or several tonality in the case of passing from one tonality to another in the same piece of music. This process is known as modulation. But first I want to show you these diagrams so that you can fully understand what the circle of fifths really is. In these diagrams, we can see all the possible keys with their respective variations. One diagram shows all the major keys, and the other shows all the minor keys. At the top are the intervals between the different notes of the various keys, and the place each note occupies within a given scale, known as the degree. For example, if a song is in the key of B major, these would be the notes that make up its scale, and these would be the chords to use within this key. To know whether a chord is major or minor, we would have to look at the bottom part. Therefore, the first degree would be major, the second would be minor, the third would also be minor, the fourth would be major, the fifth would be major, the sixth would be minor, and the seventh would be diminished. This last diminished chord is not commonly used. However, it would be more common to find this degree a semitone lower and in major. In other words, if we take the key of B major as an example, instead of using a diminished A sharp, it would be more feasible to use an A major. In the minor key chart, the system would be the same, but obviously this scheme would be used in songs with a minor key. The circle of fifths is simply an ingenious and effective way of squeezing these two charts into a much more compact diagram. I'm sure more than one of you has been confused by this diagram, but trust me, it's really simple to understand how it works. In the blue circle we have the major keys, scales or chords, and in the yellow circle the minor keys. When I talk about major or minor chord, I mean all major or minor chords. It can be a major chord, major seventh or major ninth for example, and in minor the same, it can be minor, minor seventh or minor ninth. For example, if we want to know which notes make up a certain scale or key, we just have to follow the pattern shown in the image on the left for major keys, and the one on the right for minor keys. This would be the arrangement of the notes of the major and minor scale in the circle of fifths, but without defining any particular key. This way, you can use this pattern anywhere on the circle of fifths. Like this, you'll know exactly which notes make up any major or minor key. In addition, we will learn about the complexity of a key, depending on its number of sharps or flats. Although the circle of fifths itself has a pattern, which quickly informs us about this issue. Since the difficulty increases as we move away from the key of C major or A minor, these two keys are the only ones that have flats nor sharps. To know which chords to use in each key, we would follow the pattern shown previously, with a slight variation for the seventh chord. Since the diminished chord is not very useful, it would be more common to find this degree a semitone lower and in major, if this degree appeared in a song. If we take the key of C major as an example, and we want to know which chords we are to use to play in that key, we just have to look around the note C to find them. To the right of C is its fifth, or fifth degree of the C scale, which would be the note G, and to the left is its fourth, F. By doing this, we would already know the primary chords of the key of C. These chords would be major, and widely used in the most popular compositions. Just below C, and inside the yellow circle we have its relative minor, A minor. Another chord that is widely used in most songs. To the left of A minor we have the second of C, D minor, and to the right would be the third E minor. The seventh chord, or seventh degree, would be to the left of the fourth degree, but a semitone lower, B flat, and it would be played in major. I have already mentioned this before, as a diminished seventh chord is very difficult to find in popular music. In fact, seventh grade is not used much either, since the chords that have the greatest prominence are those that are around the tonic note. But it's not about being rigid either. For example, we can use passing chords between notes, such as using an A-flat major chord to go from A minor to G major. Therefore, the sequence would be A minor, A-flat major, and G major. That intermediate dissonance will give the sequence an enigmatic and mysterious touch that can be interesting on certain occasions. If we want to extract the chords of a song in a different major key, for example A major, that's no problem. We move to that key and use the same system. We use the chords found around the chosen key, plus the note next to the fourth degree. If we want to transpose the chords of a song to another key, we use the same method. We swap some notes for others, and that's it. We rotate the entire structure around the circle, or we rotate the circle to place the tonic at the top. The same thing happens with minor keys. We locate the key, for example A minor, and use the chords around it, plus the one next to the fourth of its relative major, which would be the second flat of the minor key. This would be the arrangement of notes for both the major and minor scales, but without defining any particular key. This way, we can use this pattern in any position on the circle of fifths. In the video description, I have included a link so you can access this great tool, and another link showing the diagrams for the major and minor scales.